Colleagues, it's time for us to start, and we've also formed a quorum. So let's start. First round, Mr. Andrew Leung, 5 minutes. We welcome the injection of $1.5 billion to the fund. We did develop the market, but given the market changes, we have to broaden the funds in order to assist the SMEs. Yes, internet sales have been expanded. As you can see on the mainland, every day they see tens of billions of yuan of internet sales, online sales. But in Hong Kong, the SMEs are not so familiar with innovation and technology. And this time you're expanding the funds to the non-profit making institutions like the Hong Kong Federation of Industries. This is good. But I'd like to ask the Director General, what more new directions would you offer to the SMEs? And by way of this $1.5 billion to expand the funds, how will you ensure that more SMEs will apply and benefit from the increase? Director General, concerning the electronic platform, we are proposing to hugely expand the two funds such that the SMEs can apply for funding to make use of online media as well as electronic platforms for marketing. At the moment, only the Trade and Industry Department can approve certain online schemes before SMEs can receive assistance. And in future, so long as SMEs use the electronic platforms for marketing and promotion for their export trade, they can receive funding from us. We'll, of course, formulate the criteria for funding. Anyway, these proposals will represent market improvement. The conventional method is to, by way of our website and the Trade Development Council's website, to do publicity. And for those trade associations of SMEs that frequently come into contact with us, will also publicize these expanded subvention for the knowledge of their members. Does any other member have any questions? Any other questions from members? Mr. Albert Chan. Mr. Chairman, well, I was about to ask a question, but Longhair asked me not to do so. We support the proposals in the paper. Mr. Christopher Chung, would you please press your button? Yes. Well, just now the PS mentioned the SMEs. Are the 40-odd SMEs in the financial services sector also covered? Why are they not to be benefiting from the funds? Well, even for the financial services industry, so long as its SME members satisfy the application criteria, they can apply. Oh, that's good. Well, Professor Chan Ka-Kang said that the SMEs in the financial services industry will not be covered. So I welcome your reply. After my holiday, I'll try to do publicity. You have plenty of money. You don't need the assistance. Any more questions from members? Dr. Chung Lai Wan, I just want to ask about one thing. The operators of retail shops are worried, particularly in recent years. We had the Occupy Central movement. Their businesses have been affected, so they'd like to do publicity. And then in new housing estates, there are shopping malls. They ask whether or not they can apply for funding under these schemes, these funds for publicity. Director General, the objective of these funds is to assist SMEs to expand the export market. If an SME majors in the local market, it won't be eligible. As for the SDF, it is to assist trade associations and chambers of commerce to launch projects to assist SMEs to boost their competitiveness, to enhance a particular industry's service standard. Let me cite an example. We did assist the Retail Association. It launched a publicity project to assist SMEs to improve their standard of service. So this will help those SMEs that major in the local market. Mr. Wong Kok Heng, Mr. Chairman, concerning the proposals in the paper, the FTU fully support them. The operation of SMEs is directly related to the interest of their employees. I note that in the past, 40,000 SMEs employed almost 300,000 employees. Therefore, I hope that these proposals can be approved as soon as possible, such that SMEs will benefit as early as possible, because the employees will directly or indirectly benefit from such funding. At the panel meetings, we already asked questions about policy, so I don't have any more questions. We support the paper. If there are no further comments from members, I'll put the proposals in the paper to the vote. Those in favor of the proposals in paper FCR 2015-16-26, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the members participating in the voting of this item support the proposals. The proposals are endorsed. Next paper, FCR 2015-16-27. This item invites members to approve a commitment of $100 million to support the Construction Industry Council in launching a pilot scheme for training semi-skilled construction workers to become skilled workers. On the 26th of May this year, the relevant electoral panel was consulted, and in attendance we have the following officials: Mr. Albert Lam, Deputy Secretary for Development; Mr. Dominic Chow, Principal Assistant Secretary for Development; Dr. Derek Pang, Chairman of Construction Industry Training Board, Construction Industry Council; and Mr. Alex Leung, Director, Training and Development, Construction Industry Council. May now invite Mr. Tony Jie, Chairman of the Development Panel, to report the panel's discussion to us. On the 26th of May this year, the panel at its meeting received a briefing from the government on the funding proposals. The attending members supported the funding proposals and had the following points to make. First of all, in formulating the contents of the training programs and mapping out the relevant arrangements, the government should discuss with employers and employees as well as trade associations closely to ensure that the training programs match the needs of the industry, and the government should adopt suitable measures to attract more people, particularly young people, to join the construction industry to ease the manpower shortage. And the government should prudently examine the manpower requirement of the construction industry in the next few years, such that construction workers won't be unemployed or underemployed. At our meeting, the government officials already addressed our concerns. Thank you.
Mr. Wong Kwok-hing, first round 5 minutes. Chairman, I don't need 5 minutes. The FTU supports strongly this item. I believe all members in attendance do understand that training semi-skilled construction workers to become skilled workers is very, very important. On one hand, we always said that wages have gone up for construction projects. There's a shortage of workers. So it is necessary to nurture more skilled workers. Recently, there was the incident about finding out the source of water that you are drinking, and in the coming water pipe works, we need the participation of many skilled workers. So under these circumstances, we want this item to be approved as soon as possible. During the panel meetings, we have asked relevant questions already, so I don't need to repeat the points. I support the item. Next, Mr. Poon Siu Ping. Thank you, Chairman. I don't need 5 minutes. We will support this proposal. The manpower projection is that 10,000 to 15,000 workers are in shortage. So I must say that now there is this tight situation, but I don't think we should resort to importation of labor. The government should do more to train the workers. According to the paper, the expenditure is 217 million for the pilot scheme, and now you're asking for 100 million. In the enclosure, there is 132 million training expenses and teacher subsidy. And then there's also reward reward money of 14 million for the trainees. So if the training is completed, then they will get $8,000 or $4,000. How did you derive the numbers? Permanent Secretary, I will ask colleagues of the association to explain. Okay, Mr. Leung? Right. Let me respond to the question. $8,000. We hope to encourage the trainee. If they get the qualification as skilled workers, they can get the reward. About the $4,000, we hope the trainees to be multi-skilled. If they can take other minor courses, for example, at most 3 courses or above, then for each course passed, we will reward them with $4,000 to encourage them to learn more. This can help them earn a living in a better way in the future. So that's how we have laid down these reward scheme. Okay, let's say if there are 1,000 trainees, now they can take a number of exams. So how did you get this 14 million? I don't know how you derived that number. Mr. Leung? Okay, first of all, the trainee will get 8,000, but not all of them will get further qualifications. Some will take more tests, but some may not. So that we have taken into consideration a discount, and so that's the reason why we have included a discount in the calculation. So that's why. Well, the number is not a simple multiplication. Okay, let's say if there are 1,000 trainees, what will be the effectiveness? You do want them to complete the training, right? Yes. So, okay, there are 1,000 places. We hope that 800 to 900 can pass the trade test and become skilled worker. Next, Dr. Priscilla Leung. Yes, Chairman, I support this item. My earlier generation used to work in the construction industry. Many of them are principal contractors. But now very few people want to join the industry because it involves heavy workload and income is not stable. You want to attract more young people to join the industry, and that is the biggest difficulty. In my district 45J, building safety, personal safety is always a threat. So I think skill training is very important. But how can you attract more new blood to the industry? I think this is important to the development of the construction industry. I think targets of training should include ethnic minorities as well. They are willing to take on heavy workload. Besides, many of them have very good work attitudes. If they are willing to join the industry, in our generation, for those who serve as principal contractors, they can earn quite good income. They perform well. Their quality may be better than the training of the previous generation. But you need to do better soft work. First, how can you enhance the satisfaction level of the workers, no matter whether they are on the front line or not? Secondly, society's recognition for these people should be enough. We should not only look at the academic qualifications. Otherwise, the young people don't want to join the industry because the industry involves heavy work. So I think you need to include the softer work as well, so that the whole industry can be pushed forward. Now there are many job opportunities, but many people are not willing to join the industry. So I am in support of the item. Do you need an answer from the administration? No. Ms. Sid Ho. Thank you, Chairman. Firstly, for public works, there should be better planning. I don't want to see many white elephant projects all of a sudden to snatch laborers, and then there will be an excuse for importation of labor. For skill upgrading, there is water pipe installation element involved. Now, there are problems with many water pipes. Now, what is the scale of the incident? How many housing estates are affected? We don't know yet. So in future training, will you say that skilled workers or semi-skilled workers should be capable of identifying substandard materials, and they should have the responsibility of making report? Mr. Leung, do you have that course? Regarding the courses and also the skill upgrading course, water pipes will be covered. We will teach semi-skilled and skilled workers. They are not up to the standard of plumber of the WSD because that will involve license. But still, we teach correct methods. We have consulted the stakeholders in compiling the curriculum. And we do have a team comprising representatives of the trade and government representatives. We attach much importance to this. Now, talking about myself, I issued a memo to my colleagues today reminding them of things happening in the market. I asked that they have to abide by all the rules and regulations. On the 13th, the WSD issued a circular on work quality and safety. We attach a lot of importance to them. And to respond to members concerning skill, knowledge, and code of ethics, all these will be taught. You want an answer? If Dr. Priscilla Leung wants an answer, I will respond. Okay. Concerning water pipe installation, does that involve welding as well? Concerning water pipe installation, yes, welding will be included. Now, in the market, we realize that there may be problems with the welding materials. If the lead content is too high, then upon welding, experienced workers should be able to identify too high lead content. Is this element covered in your course, Mr. Leung? Yes, Chairman, I will answer the question now. As I said just now, the trainees will have to look at the materials, and there's the need for a no-lead certificate. Today we issued a circular or notice to the teachers and relevant colleagues. This point was emphasized. So apart from skill and knowledge, standard of ethics is also important. The materials may be bought by the contractor or the property owner, but they have the responsibility to know. Yes, Chairman, that's why I suggest that the workers, well, in the future will get a skill card. So when they seek jobs, at least there will be a certificate or a proof. Now, since they have this qualification that is recognized, I think they should shoulder the responsibility of making a report. Perhaps only the bosses are responsible for the materials, and I don't know whether they are the principal contractor or the subcontractors. The frontline workers responsible for welding should be knowledgeable to tell whether the lead content is too high in the materials. So in the future system, you should hold them accountable. If they realize that the materials are problematic, if they don't make a report, they should be held accountable. Only in that way can you make sure that the subcontractors will not use substandard materials. Well, I only have 3 more seconds. I know that I cannot really follow up this point adequately. You said they should be held responsible, but then it's difficult because I think this is the plumber's problem. Yes, they should make reports if they see that the materials are problematic, but it is difficult to say that they are guilty if they don't make reports. Okay. Yesterday at the Housing Authority, I heard that they definitely will know, because if they use welding materials containing lead, the process will be faster. If the materials don't contain lead, then longer time will be required. Ms. Ho asked whether this element will be included in the course, and they should make reports if the materials are problematic. As I said, I attach much importance to this matter. I issued a memo to my colleagues. As Ms. Ho said, they must be knowledgeable. At the same time, they must have this sense of ethics to make reports. Will they be taught in this area? We will remind them. So this will be included in the course. We have to remind them of this in the course. So that means yes, right? Yes, we can include this in the course. Mr. Zhe Wei-chun, first round, 5 minutes. Chairman, thank you. First of all, I want to express my support for this item. That is to train the semi-skilled workers to become skilled workers. Referring to enclosure 1, I would like to express my views. First, just now, it is said that 22 tasks are covered, but then there may be changes in the industry. If you talk about 1 to 2 years, I believe we should not restrict ourselves to 22 tasks. There may be more or fewer. So I think we have to look at the situation in the construction industry. And concerning 800 to 900 training quota on the job training, I think there should be some more flexibility, because for some tasks the demand may be bigger, and for other tasks the demand is smaller. Apart from upgrading the skills, how can we enable the trained workers to continue to develop in the industry? That's important. Minimum monthly wage, well, there is an estimate. And no less than 12,000 to 15,000 monthly salary. Well, do these numbers include the training subsidy? That is about 5,000 to 6,000 per month. I'm referring to the numbers I stated just now, like 20-odd thousand, based on 25 working days per month. and the minimum one is based on 20 working days, 12,000 to 15,000. Do these numbers include the subsidy? Thank you. Mr. M? Thank you, Chairman. Let me take this question. Okay, to respond to Mr. Zhe, first about the 22 tasks. Is this fixed? No. But for the pilot scheme, we need to have a concept. We have consulted various employers and labor unions. And we think that these 22 trades can start first, and there is flexibility. In the future, if there's the need, we can add more trades, and we can review. There's no problem with that. And secondly, concerning the quota, 800 will be for the employers and 200 for labor unions. So we have to have an idea as to how the quota will be split. It depends on the application. Perhaps there are more applications from one side. We do have the flexibility to adjust this ratio of 800 to 200. It can be changed. Then in the table, we referred to some salaries. We recommend to employers to pay this salary to the workers. And there's the minimum wage as well. Sometimes when there is heavy rain or bad weather, the pay should not be lower than the minimum salary. And then for the training subsidy, that's exactly the $5,000 to $6,000 to add to the salary. So in other words, it's included in the numbers. Okay, $5,000 to $6,000 is included for 1 to 2 years. And then at that time, after this scheme is ended, there won't be further subsidy. Then will the pay be reduced? Will that affect people's intention to continue to work in this industry? We are not worried because we're talking about the skilled worker qualification. At that time, these people are masters already. So in the industry, many people would like to hire them. And if the salary is cut, then they can change employers. They can work for other employers. This is flexibility. I don't think the employers will do that. Chairman, okay, if the workers have passed the test, even without the subsidy of $5,000 to $6,000, the income can be at least the salary level upon passing the test as skilled worker, right? Mr. Leung, in the coming 5 to 10 years, the total value of construction projects will be 100 to 200 billion. Dr. Priscilla Leung, round 2, 3 minutes. Construction workers beautify the city. So many representatives of the industry told me that they want their status to be enhanced. For example, in the future, there can be the position of city beauticians. So actually, the beauty industry is developing well. Okay, Mr. Lam, if you would like to make some response, then I will leave my time for you. Mr. Lam? Yes, Chairman, concerning the image of construction workers, together with CETA, we have been doing a lot of work in recent years. And there is a program on the media named Biusing. The main targets are youngsters. Besides, in order to attract people to join the industry and retain the people, we have done other work apart from publicity. For example, about construction site safety and site environment, so that young people and those who have joined the industry will continue to stay on. Apart from young people, recently we worked with CIC to think about how to attract more females and ethnic minorities to join the construction industry. Any other questions? Ms. Sit Ho, second round. Just now, the official held up some guidelines and code of conduct. Well, that is not enough. For construction workers, we're talking about their jobs. And on the other hand, you are talking about codes of conduct. Of course, no one wants to use substandard material because that may affect pregnant women. And sometimes we're talking about temporary workers. If we can switch the system to a permanent system, then I think many problems can be solved. Like the electrical powers and privileges ordinance, sometimes people dare not speak the truth. But if there is the legal obligation, then they will tell the principal contractors that if I don't report on you, I will lose my job. Then this is a deterrent effect. Chairman, I don't think that this problem can be solved in 3 minutes, but I think the administration should try to come up with some new administrative measures to solve the water pipe problem. Thank you.
Dr. N. Jiang, 5 minutes for the first round. Thank you. I'd like to further clarify one point. The semi-skilled workers, you say you will propose them to become skilled workers upon the completion of the training. And when you answered Mr. Tony Chair's question, you said that during the training period, the worker will receive a subsidy, and after the training is completed, you don't need to give him a subsidy. And then it's possible that his wages may go up, but will the increase in wage be offset by the subsidy that you will withdraw? I think that it's the second time that the question has been raised. Well, I've already said that when the trainee has completed his training and obtained his qualification as a skilled worker, he would already become a master. Once he has become a master, he would be very much sought after given the tight labor situation. So there's no reason why the employer would cut his wages. No, the question is not whether or not the employer will cut his wages, but rather if he can no longer receive the $5,000 bonus, will he be earning more than $5,000 after completing the course to offset the cancellation of the bonus? Don't beat around the bush. Well, I don't think I can answer the question. I think that would depend on the market, really. And I cannot give you a guarantee as to how much the worker will earn, after completing the training. Ms. Chang. Dr. Pan. Thank you. Actually, the different trade unions have guidelines for skilled workers as to how much the wages they should be paid. According to that guideline, I think the workers will be earning, more upon completing training. So if there are fewer projects, then of course their wages may be affected. But as of now, a worker after becoming, a skilled worker will receive wages which is higher than what he will get, before he gets qualification, even with the subsidy. How much roughly will a qualified skilled worker be getting? I think it will differ vary from industry to industry. Why can't you provide a table for Dr. N. Jiang listing the wages of the skilled workers and semi-skilled workers, roughly how much they are paid? Any follow-up, Dr. Jiang? I also have another suggestion. We are now saying that we want more workers to, further their professional skills and training. But in the paper, we see that a worker who has worked for so many years, earning several tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they're called the masters, and then you have the rank and file workers as well. For some professions, such as plasterers or workers specializing in paintwork. Can you think of something like that? I mean, previously you call them apprentices, masters, and so on. But nowadays you want to attract the young generation to join the construction industry. We hope that there could be better job titles to attract these young people to join the construction industry. Do we have any other questions from members? Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. I think we should support the funding application, and I think the industry also urgently needs these skilled workers. Other than skill training, I think during the course of the training, we have to urge the employers to try to improve the working environment. At the moment, young people really have expectations of the working environment. So therefore, in the training process, especially training that you do in conjunction with the employers, I think you have to remind the employers to pay attention to the provision of a good working environment and also better protect the workers. Emily Lau. Chairman, I support the paper. In paragraph 3, we told that in the next few years, the construction industry will need to hire an additional 10 to 15,000 skilled workers. To migrate from being a semi-skilled to a skilled worker will take 3 to 4 years. You're now proposing that you will train up 800 to 900 or 1,000 skilled workers. According to the figures, I think it's a difficult, problem to solve. For many years going forward, the construction industry will still be facing a serious, problem of labor shortage. Dr. Ng, thank you for the question. I think for the pilot scheme, the scale of the first stage of the training program is rather small. But under this training program, we also have many semi-skilled workers who can, go through the test and directly become skilled workers. So this is a supplementary scheme. It's not that all skilled workers need this scheme to become promoted, to become skilled workers. What about the other schemes? You say that there will be a shortage of 10 to 15,000 skilled workers. How many additional skilled workers can you train up through the other channels? Every year there are 5,000 to 6,000 new workers who will be trained every year. And after they work for 3 or 4 years, they will take the test and will become skilled workers or masters. So it's difficult to give you a specific number for every year. Mr. Leung, please speak in the microphone if you can. Sorry. Well, at the moment, we have 340,000 registered workers, 220 ordinary workers, and 100,000 skilled workers, and 20,000 semi-skilled workers. So through this project, we can, I think for workers, if they were to pick up the skills on site, that it would take 3 or 4 years. We want to provide a systematic training course so that within 1 or 2 years, these workers can become can migrate from being a semi-skilled worker to migrate to a skilled worker, in a shorter time. So we will recruit 5,000 to 6,000 such workers. We'll train them for 5 to 6 months, and then they can become skilled workers. Looking at our population, the population is aging. We have a smaller number of young people. And we've already done a lot in the last few years to attract young people to join the construction industry. As how we can, satisfy the demand of 10 to 15,000 workers a year is indeed a difficult problem. So we're now trying our best to help the market implement the scheme. Chairman, I think you are able to realize that there is a problem, and you've realized that there's a problem for some time already. Well, this is a good good scheme unless there's no way you can attract people to join the scheme. If you can expand the scheme, if more people are willing to join the course, would you be able to do that? If more people could, join the training program, it will be a good thing, yes. But this is only a pilot scheme, and we want to continue with the scheme going forward. You've had a labor shortage for many years already, and now you are proposing this pilot scheme, which only train up such a small number of workers. Can we step up the effort so that the construction industry will not have to face such a grave labor shortage problem? Why have you come up with this pilot scheme so late and are proposing to train up such a small number? Chairman. I think the manpower shortage in the construction industry has been a problem for many years, for a few years already. In the last few years, LegCo has approved some funding, $320 million to enhance the manpower training in the construction industry. Previously, the CIC focused on the training of semi-skilled workers. This time, we're taking a step further. In the past, the training of skilled workers depends on on-site training. That is, the worker would learn the skills and accumulate experience on the site and then sit for the examination to become skilled workers. This time we are promoting 2 additional measures or channels so that we can provide incentives for semi-skilled workers to become skilled workers by attending this course. Sorry, Ms. Lau is not speaking in the microphone. Dr. Pang, thank you for your concern. We are even more concerned than you are. If you look at the figures, I think the construction industry in Hong Kong from 2003 to 2010 was, in decline, and many projects were not able to be implemented. This was about 5 years ago, and many people left the construction industry and joined the other industry because they were unemployed and they could and these people would not rejoin the construction industry. The Bureau already said that we have to start from the lowest level first. You cannot train up an unskilled worker to become skilled workers. Now that we've trained up some semi-skilled workers, we can now focus our attention on the training of skilled workers. I hope that we'll be able to implement this pilot scheme as soon as possible, and then we'll be able to expand the scale later on. So we will approach the different subcontractors, the unions. We've already discussed with them how we plan to proceed. With funding available, we will start the pilot scheme in September. Do we have any other members who would like to ask a question? Mr. Chair, Tony Chair, you have three minutes. It's getting late, I understand, Chairman. Okay, I have 3 minutes, right? Chairman, I'd like to thank all the members who've referred to the labor shortage problem in the construction industry. I hope the government will try its best. We have a manpower shortage, and there's a historic reason for that. People in the industry suddenly became unemployed at one stage. So, government projects actually, I hope government projects can be, launched, in a more steady manner. In the last 2 years, the government's projects was to the tune of $80–90 billion. Yeah, so I don't know. Well, for the government. What's the difficulty for the government to maintain a steady level of work? The construction industry tends to fluctuate and move up and down. And how can you attract young people to join the industry? After they graduate, the industry is in a recession. Then there's no jobs available for them. So does the government have the determination or the will to maintain a steady volume of projects year on year? Yes, I think we can certainly discuss that. But what we are talking about is the $100 million pilot scheme. Whether or not government should maintain a steady flow of government projects are two entirely different issues. But I think the officials can still answer the question. You can take your time, actually. All right? I'm not upset. Yeah, take your time. Chairman, to answer Mr. Tony Chair's question, in recent years, government's expenditure on public works amount to about $70 billion every year, and going forward in the next few years, we hope to maintain it at the same level. Other than government projects, there are also private projects. Putting the two together, we hope that we'll be able to maintain a steady level of development. The CIC also has made estimates of the combined value of public and private projects. It is estimated that it will range between $170 to $240 billion. We hope that the trainees will give the trainees will let the trainees see that there will be a steady employment prospect for the trainees. Anyone else who would like to ask a question? Any other questions? Please press the bell. Don't put up your hand. Please press the bell if you wish to ask a question. If members have no further questions, I'll now put this item to the vote. For all those who are in favor of FCR 2015-2016 27, put up their hands. Those who are against the project, put up your hand. I believe the members signifying their vote are in favor of the project. So this favor is now approved, and we will now adjourn. The meeting will resume tomorrow at 9 a.m.